Welcome to Manthan, and today we are going to discuss the chapter 2, and this deals with the requirements of a counselor as a person. Now, you are aiming to be a counselor, and I'm sure you all want to be very successful and very good counselors and help people with the psychological, behavioral, or emotional problems. Now, these are the important factors that the counseling is involved in, but at the same time, the most important factor in the process of counseling is you as a counselor. As a counselor, certain things you need to learn, and if you feel that you do not have these abilities, you will also try and improve yourself, and that would be very essential to become a good counselor, to be able to work in the field of your choice. Now, what are the qualities that the counselor is supposed to be having and is necessary to become a good counselor? On this chapter, page number 2, we have also given you in writing all the abilities that the counselor is supposed to have or develop. So the counselor must have his own identity. He has to be able to place himself where he is in the society. He may be, as a responsible citizen, place himself as somewhere where he will not be involved in irresponsible activities or jobs. He has to also respect himself. He has to be having a good amount of self understanding, self esteem, and self worth. They have to learn, or if they don't have, develop and to appreciate themselves. They are able to recognize and accept their own power. As a counselor, you will develop certain abilities which you will find are having quite a good amount of power and able to influence other people. Then they are also open to change, because even when we are counselors or trained counselors, successful counselors, with every client we may feel that we still need to learn certain things which we are learning from our experience with every individual client. We are also expanding our knowledge about others, and we are able to tolerate the ambiguity. That is, you are able to understand the other person's point of view, and though your point of view may be different from them, you may be able to tolerate them. You'll be also able to tolerate the uncertainty of the results that you are going to have. So this kind of ambiguity is often faced by the counselors, and we need to learn to tolerate this kind of ambiguity, because we may not always have answers in black and white or yes or no. So there are times in the counseling process where we may not be certain about the results, and we need to be patient about finding them out. So then there is also the counseling style that you may have to develop. You will, if you are working in the field for very long time, and you have then discovered that if you stick and adhere to just one particular type of counseling process or counseling theory, then it will not be like one fits all kind of theory. You may have to change your modes of applying the theories, so you may need to change your techniques. You may also need to change the theory that is applicable. If the counselee is coming to you for a longer time, for a longer duration, he started with one kind of a problem, and then you have seen that he has, over the period of time while going through counseling with you, he has also changed, and his original problem is no more a problem for him. He has overcome it, but then while growing, while going through the counseling process with you, he has also, or she has also grown with that, and he has now realized some other kind of blocks, resistances and problems in his own personality which he may like to address. And this is the way the counseling process will be carried out to change his problems as he is growing up, and he has a better insight and understanding about his own personality. So this is the way the counseling process helps the counselee to grow, and the counselor will also realize that the original approach that he had about the counselee and to help the counselee to overcome his problem needs to change. He needs to change his technique, he needs to change his method of addressing the counselee. So in the chapter 2, we have given you all these points that would help you to help the counselee as a good counselor. And if you are successful in doing this and growing with your counselee, which happens in case of all the counselors, you will be able to keep your counselee clients for a longer period of time, able to help them step by step to overcome all the blocks that are holding him from progressing and his growth. So this is the way you can say counseling process never ends. It is a continuous process, and the counselor himself also has to keep growing, and with more experience he grows more, and he is able to understand the counselee's problems and counselee's way of thinking, and his way of changing his beliefs will be also much more easily seen by the counselor, and he will be able to address them to help the counselee overcome them. So now, one of the main areas of understanding himself for the counselor or herself for the counselor is their own value system. Of course, as a counselor, one has to learn to develop that kind of a belief or that kind of a personality change that is required in the counselor. So his own or her own value systems need to undergo change. There are very many places where the value system has to be kept in check, because very often we do not maybe agree with the value systems of our counselees, but then we need to check ourselves and keep the value system, our own value systems, within our own domain, and not to extend it to the counselee's way of living and understanding. So, for example, say the counselee believes that it is okay to cheat in the exam, because anyway I have worked hard, but I may not know all the answers and I need to pass. So he may justify his cheating in the exam. Similarly, a businessman who may manipulate his accounts to save his taxes, he may also justify himself by saying that government is taking money, but they are not providing us with any kind of facilities like they have in the other countries. They have got so many facilities, they are provided with this, that, while in our country we are not given all these benefits of the taxes that we are paying. So he may not be able to appreciate or see the long term or the wider base on which the taxes or tax money is being used, and he may try to justify himself. Now, as a counselor, your value system may be teaching you something very different. Like you may find that cheating is definitely not acceptable, or maybe the saving the taxes by cheating the government is also not a very good citizenship value. So you may be thinking differently, but the counselee is right in his own way and he believes that he is right. So if you get up and straight away contradict his value system, it is not going to work, because then it would not be a counseling process. We have to have the patience, and we need to have that kind of tolerance for the differences in our opinions and the value system. At the same time, you must have trust and belief in your own counseling system, your own counseling process, your own counseling techniques, and your own ability as a counselor to be able to change the counselee's way of looking at things gradually and slowly. And that is something that is very, very essential on the part of the counselor, to be patient and also at the same time accept the ambiguity and also the tolerance of the other person's way of thinking and believing. And if we could do all this and we could bring about the change in the counselees, then in that case you would be able to understand how we can change the people's way of belief and living and their thinking, and the so many kinds of ills in the society, like honor killing and people killing their own progeny, their own sons, daughters, because their value system does not approve of the way their youngsters are thinking. So this is the very essential part of being a counselor, that we develop this kind of ambiguity, we develop tolerance for the diversity, we may also have some very staunch ideas and beliefs in our own system, our own way of thinking. But when you are a counselor, you need to have that kind of a very broad mindedness to accept the other person's way of thinking and behaving. So these are the some of the very deep things that the counselors have to accept as a part of their growth and a part of their training, and they have to learn to tolerate this kind of differences, and definitely they need to have very deep understanding of their own professional requirements and their professional training, their professional knowledge. They must trust to be able to bring about the changes, though they may be very slow changes, and they that way are going to contribute in bringing about the change in the society. So wish you all the best, and we start with our journey towards helping the society by bringing about the changes in the individuals who trust us and go towards a betterment of life in our own life as well as in their life. So with this we complete the second chapter, and now in future we will be doing the third chapter.